Working on the truck today and probably tomorrow. Hopefully this rain can let up a little bit. As much as it aggravates me, we damn sure needed it. Our canal out back was about bone dry. I mean, our grass looks like you lit a freaking forest fire on it. But on our way back down to Florida this past trip, our steer tire had some irregular wear on it, which led me to believe that I had front shocks going bad or something was wrong. We still had to drop that Caterpillar engine down in Miami. So I figured I'll go do that. I'm about 160 miles from there. Go drop that, get that all squared away, then we'll work on the truck. That last 350 miles, it tore up that other steer tire to the point where I had all the intentions of going up to 75 chrome to get the tire shaved and trued. But after that last couple hundred miles, after they would have done their service up there, it would have kind of been pointless. There would have been too much material gone. So I decided just go grab some brand new steers. I was originally going to go with Firestone, and then I seen these sitting there. They are Falcons R1130s. I'd never run them before. We'll give them a shot. They were $100 less. Their sidewall felt a whole lot stiffer than the Firestone. They might ride a little rougher, but I mean, I was looking for like puncture resistant, if you come close to a curb or whatever the case is. The Firestones, I mean, they felt like a car tire right near this area if you grab it from the inside. These are still 16 ply. They are still made USA. That's the main goal. You don't want to run cheap Chinese tires on your steers. These were $480 a piece out the door, mounted, balanced. Obviously, while they're off, we're putting some fresh polish on the wheels. Also, painting the drums. It's the same color we did the rear hubs with. And then once we get our front hubs off, we're going to paint the inside of them to match as well. We're going to do wheel bearings. We replaced our air filters. And it kind of burns my ass. I literally have every size socket up to 3-inch. And I need a 2 5/8. And it skipped from 2.5 up to I think 2 3/4 for some stupid reason, or somebody borrowed it didn't get returned. Whatever, I ordered some. It'll be here tomorrow. I could have ran down to Fort Myers and grabbed what I needed, but by the time I rushed down there to get what I needed, you get back here, it's still raining. It's going to be late. Mosquitoes are coming out. Just order it. It'll be here in the morning. Either way, I'm going to be working on a truck tomorrow, so what's the rush, And I'm probably saving money by ordering it. Luckily for us, a parts store opened up right down the street from our house. I mean, it's like 1.5 miles. It's a blessing. And he actually will come right here and bring me what I need. We also got our new shocks. Our front hub covers, or caps, whatever you want to call them. They kind of look like crap, so we went ahead and grabbed some new ones. They come with a seal. We got brake cleaner. Got some new synthetic hub oil. Our tie rods and all that look good. I've replaced the gearbox already, the pitman arm. My drag link's all new. My kingpins look a little, I say look, there's a little bit of movement. I mean, it's kind of within spec, but I'm going to go ahead and replace them anyways. I would like to do it right now, but I might wait a week or two. I know it sounds stupid. I'm kind of already balls deep in this right now, but we've been off all weekend. What's today? Tuesday or Wednesday? And getting out of the state of Florida is always tough. Figure anytime I come home, I lose a day or two with revenue. It's just how it is. The freight here is terrible. But it's also nice every time I come home. I'm at a vacation spot most people spend a lot of money to go to. So there's the upside of living in Florida. We also had one of our rear drives had a puncture in it from a shipper. Probably about 2 months ago, I plugged it, and it's been holding up since, but it was only a plug, so we had to patch it from the inside. I'm anticipating Thursday morning go up to 75 chrome and have them at least true and shaved my drive tires. There's still a lot of life left on them, at least get them round and balanced again. And it should ride pretty good with all the new shocks. You got to stay on top of all your maintenance. It is a absolute must. We also cleaned our garage. I don't have a big garage, but it's what I got. This workbench was over where those toolboxes are. I know I got kind of a mess going on at the moment, but we are somewhat organized. Hopefully things turn around. We did buy some property about a quarter mile from our house here, and we can build our shop on it. If I didn't have the issues with replacing the engine, it would have already been done. But you figure after I did the engine, the transmission, clutch, and all the miscellaneous, renting a truck and whatever. I mean, that was upwards of $80,000. So they were at my building right out the freaking window. Not a huge deal, but being in Florida, I mean, you're dealing with this is abnormal rain to rain all day like this, but the main killer is the heat. I'd actually rather work in this than the 110 degree heat index. Yeah, we're waiting on get that socket, get that last lock nut off. I mean, I'm sure I could get off right now, but I'm just gonna wait for the right thing. But like I said, the drag link's new. Our steering box is all new. Got all new brakes. We'll have new wheel bearings. And I don't even think these wheel bearings are bad, honestly. But while we're here, change them. Obviously new seals. That's what keeps me off the side of the road. Every time I see a truck on the side of the road, I always ask, hey man, you good? I always offer help or I'll stop. I mean, I carry a shit ton of tools with me. I always have extra parts. It's shitty when you got to make a phone call and you need to pay somebody to help you. Um, in my opinion, that shit'll put you right out of business. It happened to me a couple times where I had to call somebody. They were not close, and the bill was ridiculous. Not ridiculous in the sense of like they had a right to charge what they charge. They have to make their money. I get that, but when it's something you can avoid by either A, keeping the right tool or spare part with you, a spare tire, having a brain and be able to do your own work, it's a huge difference. One thing I swore I'd start doing, and it's taken me several years to do. We just started making our list, parts and part numbers. Peterbilt especially, you call them up. I mean, you used to be able to call and get a part number and then either shop around online or go to a mom and pop's part store and get what you needed for a fraction of the price. These places don't want to give you them part numbers anymore. I mean, they're hip to what you're doing. But like Peterbilt wants, $100 a shock absorber. My parts guy was okay. He wasn't the cheapest, but he also delivered them to my house for $80 a shock. When you're buying 6, I mean, I'm saving over $100, and he's bringing them to me. I mean, that's a no freaking brainer right there. Same thing. Like, he brought the air filters, everything, wheel bearings. Obviously, some stuff I won't skimp and get like an off-brand. Obviously, when it comes to the engine, everything's Cat. And then some things with the truck, I'll go to Peterbilt for it. But maintenance items, aside from fuel filters, I recommend if you have a Caterpillar, you run Caterpillar filters. I know they're more money. And honestly, they don't even last as long. I've got more life out of wicks than the Cat. But if I'm not getting the same life, that's because they're picking up more debris. So a simple mind would think, oh, well, the wicks are better because they last longer. The wicks are lasting longer because they're not catching as much debris. That's where my mind goes with it. I'm kind of psycho about maintenance. I mean, I do my oil every 8 to 10,000 miles. Some people are like, oh, you can go 25,000. You're an asshole if you go 25,000 miles on an oil change and you're an owner operator and you're buying your equipment. You're stupid. Oil is cheap. An engine is not. I'd rather change my oil filters, fuel, everything 8 to 10,000 miles. Yeah, I mean, some people that could be every 2 to 3 weeks. Guess what? You'll never have a problem. Your oil is always clean. It's a lot cheaper than an overhaul, or like we did, we bought a brand new Caterpillar. That was a shit ton of money. So now, obviously, old motor, we don't run full synthetic. Plus, I'm not a fan of full synthetic. It's prone to oil leaks. These new engines, I mean, they call for it, so I mean, I guess you have to, but that's why I like the old stuff. You run cheaper conventional oil, you run the same oil, and you change it religiously, you'll be fine. I mean, these engines generate a lot of heat. You're pulling hills, you're pulling a lot of weight. I don't care if it's synthetic or not. I wouldn't want that oil in the crankcase for, this 20, 30,000 mile interval BS. If you ask me, they tell you that because they know at 300,000 or 400,000 miles, you're going to be in there for an overhaul. I even seen on a forum the other day, some guy was talking about he does it every 50,000 miles. Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, you're being cheap over a couple $100, but you're risking tens of thousands. And to me, that just doesn't make sense. Maybe somebody that does, not me. Fuck that. I spend about $200 on a filter and oil for my truck. If I gotta do that once a month, I mean, that's money in the bank to me. I know some of these, you know, OTR guys out here, you know, they might run, you know, these 12,000 miles a month, 15,000, whatever it is. That's insane. I try to only run no more than 10,000 miles a month. Keep our revenue. I try to keep all miles above $3 a mile. That's all my deadhead. That's loaded. That's my bottom line. That's where, as long as when I come home and I figure, hey, I check the mileage on the truck, I look at my gross revenue. If we're over $3 a mile for everything, we're good. And out of that 10,000 miles, I would bet you that I'm only loaded 6,500 of those miles. So that 3,500, 4,000 miles, we are getting almost 10 miles to the gallon. I also try to be as light as possible. I mean, it may work for other people, it may not. That's worked for me. I've always just tried to make my money one direction. I don't care about a deadhead. I don't care about, oh, it's a backhaul. Whoever came up with the term backhaul is an idiot. Because, like, I called on some work leaving Florida early this week. And the guy's like, well, you know, it's leaving Florida. It's, you know, it's supposed to be a little bit cheaper. I'm like, what do you mean supposed to be a little bit cheaper? Now, I live in Florida. I know the game. I know that's how it is. But, like, my truck doesn't work cheaper leaving here. So why am I going to haul your freight for this BS amount of money? I could run empty, get awesome fuel mileage. It doesn't cost me hardly shit to leave. Why would I got to haul your 47,000 pounds of crap and make the difference is instead of me spending a couple $100 in diesel to get, say, to the Panhandle of Florida to where I can get a profitable amount of money. Okay, yeah, I'm losing a day of revenue and I'm spending a couple $100 in diesel. If I haul their freight, depending on even where it's going, I mean, you can't go too far with it because now you're kind of leaving an area where you could have a high profitable run. Let's say the Panhandle, Lower Alabama, all that, Birmingham. You know, it's sad when like freight from, say, Miami going to Gary, Indiana, you leave here, they want to pay you like $1,800. Why would I do that when I could deadhead to, say, Dothan, Alabama? I'm driving empty, getting great fuel mileage. Keep that in mind. Load in Dothan, go to Gary, Alabama, or Gary, Indiana. It could literally be the same freight, and it would pay me more money than if I picked it up in Miami. So why am I going to haul out of Miami? And sadly, a lot of people don't understand that. I see a lot of people loaded leaving here with the same junk that I see on a load board. I'm like, I just drive by, I'm shaking my head. Like, you guys are idiots. Because, like, look, when it comes down to having maintenance and doing all this stuff, when you're working at $1.50 a mile, you can't buy this stuff. It's impossible. Like, when we come back into Florida, we're getting $5-6 a mile from wherever we're at least. So I can leave. I could afford to leave here empty. Like, I made my money coming in. Now, sure, like, usually I'll try to find cars or trucks to haul out of here because obviously they're light. It's cash. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, go ahead and do that. But the guys I see here leaving with full truckloads for under $2 a mile is insane to me. I tried it. I figured, hey, something's better than nothing. And guess what? At the end of the week, you're like, where'd all my money go? Why don't I have, like, Where did this gross revenue, like, what happened to it? I'll tell you where it went. It went in your damn fuel tank. It went towards maintenance. But I mean, it's just the way I run things. Like I said, other people might have, they might have their system. It might work for them. Me, I'm not hauling that cheap stuff. I'll park it before that happens. All I know is when we have these issues, we get it done. The guy at the tire shop, I don't know if I said earlier, but he's like, oh, you can get away with, you know, why you just buy one steer tire? Like the other one's still good. I'm like, well, he's been on the truck for a year. I got 80-some thousand miles on him. Yeah, I said 80,000 miles. So in 12 months, that's all we've run. We don't run those crazy miles. That's not where it's at. You don't make money doing that. You'll have some high gross numbers, but your net sucks. But yeah, he said, why don't you just run, actually I kept the old, see it over there. I kept one of them for a spare. Well, he's like, oh, why don't you just run? I'm like, listen, man, I don't do that. You know, you're literally playing with, okay, yeah, my truck's an '05, but sadly, I bought this at the peak of the market. I needed a truck at the time. It is what it is. And then sadly, you know, I got 30,000 miles out of it. I had to replace the engine. I did the transmission, clutch. You know, I did all new brakes on it. Steering, I did a lot of work on this truck. It is what it is. Anyways, why am I going to risk everything because of $1,000? Literally $960, $480 a piece out the door, mounted and balanced. Why am I going to risk everything I work for because I want to be cheap about a tire? Like, that's insane to me. If you're running like local or like regional, yeah, whatever. But you're running over the road and you're running, you know, 400 or 500, 600, 700 miles a day, especially in the summertime, the heat. Like, these tires are getting hot. And I mean, at bare minimum, especially on this truck, you blow a steer tire, you could say goodbye to that fender. The hood's going to be trashed. More than likely your wheels toast and whatever else decides to go with it. Because you want to save $500-600, it's going to cost you $20,000 to fix it. And that's if you don't crash or roll over the truck. But sadly, most people today, when they're driving, you see them, especially these Freightliner and Volvo guys, they got one foot up on the dashboard, they're playing on their phone. They're not anticipating a steer tire blowing. That's why you gotta have both hands on a wheel. And even with having both hands on a wheel, and if somebody told you your steer tire is about to blow, there's a good chance you might not save it. You could know exactly when it's gonna happen, and you could still wreck that truck. It's crazy to see these guys going on the road these days. You know, that could happen any truck, anytime. You could hit something, you could hit a piece of metal on the road. That's the other thing I noticed on my steer. It had a couple cuts in the tread, you know, and like, why play with it? But hopefully this rain lets up. We got to put our final polish on this wheel. This one's about squared away. We said our sockets will be here in the morning. Go ahead and do these wheel bearings, and hoping the rain at least lets up enough I can get the shocks on tonight. But if not, to hell with it. Anyways, I'll probably do a video tomorrow on how to do these wheel bearings. It's not hard stuff, really. You don't need any special tools other than these larger sockets. Alright, so the next one. Stay classy.